This is Fred's latest watercolour painting, and I'm just going to show you his array of watercolour paints in the tubes. Daniel Smith, brilliant quality of watercolours. And this is Fred's palette setup with all the colours that he's using currently on this watercolour painting. And one of the colours the artist doesn't use is black. Can you explain a little bit about that, Fred?
Yeah, well, if you look at my colour chart on the wall here, these are all the colours that I've got in this particular range here, and there's no black there. I've got a very dark green, a very indigo, a very dark red. So when I'm using black, if I want something that's very dark, I mix up the black, because there is no black in nature actually, you don't see black very much. With a very dark green, a very dark red makes a black, or you can use an indigo to get an even darker one in that same mix. And that way you can variegate your blacks from warm to cool. More green or indigo will make it cooler, more red will make it warmer black, because like in trees, for instance, the very dark shadowy areas, which are almost black, are actually a very dark brown, reddish brown. So you wouldn't want a blue colour in there, you want this kind of, this to predominate, this reddish colour. So what I've got here is a range of from dark to light for the colour of the tree trunk, with a bit of lichen colour there as well, which is a quinacridone burnt orange. So anyway, so what I'm going to do now is
just one question. I notice on that chart, that upper chart, you have got an ivory black there. Do you not use that from that brand? Is that just...
No, I washed that out on there. I didn't like it, threw it away.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So it's not even over there
Use
anymore.
only the best.
Yeah, so I throw away anything I don't like. That's a set that came to me from another studio, and I don't use those colours very much. I tend to use these Daniel Smith
ones
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what these are here. And this is on Archie's paper, and you can see the watermark there, Archie's France, the infinity mark. You see that? You see the infinity mark there?
Yeah.
That means, you know, it symbolises that it's archival. It's acid free and all that. Anyway, I'm just going to wet my brush now, do a bit of painting. A little bit at a time with this. I like to put my hand on something, so I'm not scraping it all over the picture all the time. And I like to have this at hand just to, so I don't splodge a gallon of water on here. And I'm just wetting that branch there with a bit of water. Just a little bit. And what that will do is that I can now float the colours into that, and they will soften. Just dab it a little bit. It will soften the tonal shifts. I have to work right up to the edge because I'm going to put a darker line through there to delineate it. Okay, here's the next tone. It's good to have these kind of different tones all set up beforehand like this, because then you can just focus on the painting and not the messing around mixing up colour. This actually gets darker as it goes away from you into the shadow of this darker tree down here. So you see what I'm doing there, it's just a soft. I'll show the brush, which is a bit smaller, number 4. These are French brushes made by Raphael. I find they're really nice, these Raphael brushes, I like them. I just drop, see how it just softens into that. What I'm using is letting the water in the paper pull the pigment down into the paper with it. Slowly as that water dries, it will slowly pull that pigment in with it. So I just need to put a dark bit on the bottom. Doing a section at a time like this, so I'm working within the limitations of the water evaporating off or soaking into the paper, because it's best if you can kind of get the paint on there while it's all still damp but not wet, if you know what I mean. So it's a question of controlling your moisture on the brush compared with the moisture on the paper. if you put too much moisture on, this is why I've got this. If you put too much moisture on it, will get out of control. So by controlling the amount of moisture in the brush, you control what the paint does. You get it to do what you want it to do. Well, I'm doing the same thing entirely, which I'm only do to a certain degree. Well, I'm just trying to get some kind of very similitude to the subject a little bit anyway.